expression of the strings of things, the magical strings of things. Like, we all know Kama Sutra. Sutra means strings. And so, even in regard to physics and the elements of universal properties, when you call out to the strings of things, they can align for no reason. It's like electron skipping orbits into the other orbit because it doesn't travel in between. It just ends up there without going between the space in the middle. How does it do that? It can't. Well, it did. And they always do, but it can't. But it did. So, all right, so we just accept it. And when we're born, we're not worried about dying. We all know that we're going to die. People don't die in front of us every day unless you're homeless. So, when you call out to the strings of things, that's when miracles happen. Because if you wish it, it will be. The universal properties of the way that we can communicate to each other, transcendentally anyway. I mean, our brains are connected as a swarm. So if one of us is injured, then we're all failing and falling, together, if you see what I mean. And so it's like, we need to get our wings back. Everybody's antagonized. We're like a bunch of bees, old bees with holes in our wings on a hot day, trying to get back with a full load, We're not going to make it. When all bees die of exhaustion, people don't realize that in exposure. Once their wings wear out after delivering the honey, that honey would be a good antibiotic, for the nonsense of the filth of cellulitis and impetigo, and then having been moist all winter, a word that needs to be eradicated from the English language. No man uses the word moist. It makes no sense. It's a moist afternoon. I feel moist. What the fuck is that, right? Men don't use the word moist. A lot of things make sense. So, Hobo Radio wasn't really reporting on that today. We were really reporting on the fact that here I sit now again because of the concerns of all of the case management people across the board in all these different agencies that have abandoned all sense of sensibility. Really, I mean, I've seen nothing that makes sense. Walter, have you? So what I'm going to do now is call out with you to the strings of things, and we will use the soles of the feet that have passed by and through and near and not have yet gone beyond, because you and I both know that this place is spirited, right? And so in the spirit of the spiritedness, I say that those spirits have been speaking to us. And as we see the universe responds accordingly, I think that we will see salvation for this homeless community through innovation. My intention and contention is to sell each and every one of them for $20,000 a piece. Human beings are worth well, they say up to $40 billion in pieces, in variations of. Maybe that's where some of these homeless have been going anyway, because they're selling their plasma anyway. And I sure as fuck wouldn't want the plasma from a homeless person, because I know what some of these people are doing. So, long story short, the next pandemic is coming from the homeless community, as we know. I mean, first it came from fleas that jumped off of rats, and that was a bit bubonic. And so anyways, I think that this is going to make, Ebola look like the flu between me and you, Seattle. This is nuts. Because my entire life, I'm a healthy person, right? I mean, Irish, whatever, I don't know. I'm lucky too, but since January 21st, I have been hospitalized up to a week at a time. ICU for 4 days. I mean, bags and bags and bags. My gut flora is so thrown off. My GABAs are fucked up, which affects, your mental well-being as well. And so as a wellness expert, I'm going to get a haircut. We're going to get rid of this, the surface diseases that I have, I suppose. And then we'll button up the suits and batten down the hatches, I suppose. And maybe do a puff pass and move on. Put some gas on this fire that we've started, because the fire comes from the fact that we all become disabled if we don't enable each other, right? And so, this is an innovative rich city, man. I made millions of dollars in this city. I left this city with $4 million just a few years ago and fucked that up. But I'm not afraid of that, because what? I can communicate in multiple languages. And so the language that I'm speaking is really the language of the shittiness of the situation too, because the Seattle art budget, the one construction for art, what could be more artful than cleaning up the city? And so, or getting me a nice haircut, instead of wasting my time with all these illnesses, having to go back up to the hospital over and over again with weeks of hospitalizations. It makes no sense. So I suppose, I've cost the VA a couple $100,000 so far since January 21st, which makes no sense. I'm sure at least $250,000. Harbor View, I'm into them for probably 20. I'm into Swedish for 37,000, I know for sure. And so, if the elements of my illnesses, can't be parlayed by my pocketfuls of typical cash, then it's being paid for by the public. And I think that that's pathetic, because it's typically me as well. So, getting back to it, I'm glad that I came down here to take a bit of a smell, and it smells bad. And then this mid company that's running around all these homeless people that are working for 12 to 18 bucks an hour, running around as ambassadors on bicycles and Segways now, with their beautiful new trucks. They're hiring all the homeless to pick up the shit that the homeless are shitting all over the streets with. The shit wouldn't be on the streets and the piss wouldn't be on the streets. In fact, like the firehouse at the headquarters down there in Pioneer Square reopened, the hygiene station. They don't need to man it. That was open for years, but then homeless people were using it. It's just like the Catholic Church up there in the hill closed the bathrooms in the church. You can go in and pray, but God help you if you have to pee. I said, God damn it, because I had to pee. And I thought, well, he would, wouldn't he? But see, I think that God was really, is God a Christian? I don't think so. He couldn't be. He's absolutely not. And so since we're following him, I suppose we all need to convert to Christianity. So it's my recommendation that all you Catholics, especially, and then the rest of you Christians, I don't know, get baptized in a little bit of the Bible maybe, right? Like read this shit about what you're supposed to do for the poor, because it's gonna happen to you. 17% of the houses in Seattle, Washington are in danger of foreclosure, Walter. That means, people got a divorce. Shit, I was with my brother for 12 and a half years, Donnie and I. When he left, my life fell apart. I don't know how to pack a suitcase, Walter. I don't remember to buy what. So I don't know what to do. No, nobody does anything right alone, and then what? No, it's interesting that these buildings that like DESC are managing are set up so that people are isolated, broken from their... DESC's entire contention of the way that they contort reality, with their nonsense of injustice and the despicable treatments using public funds in this private enterprise of filth. Don't get me on that one, it's right there in the face of it. It's the Lion building, which is lying to all of us. Look at the recent millions of dollars in upgrades in the fucking HD cameras, for Christ's sakes. They'll put in, if a building's built in 6? The building was up in 06, right? Something like that? Well, then you're gonna put in what? HD cameras, so that you can see if somebody's stealing underwear from the laundry room. Come on, people, you don't spend $400,000 on HD cameras. In a building where you're saying you're managing chemical dependency and assisting in assisted living, and then what? It's a perpetual conundrum of nonsense. I've seen the lies myself. I went in there, the walls were covered, the elevator was covered in feces, it smelled like urine in the hallways, the floors were filthy. The food that they were serving was not food. It was absolutely dry. My dog wouldn't even eat it. My friend's dog wouldn't even eat it. And then the injury that it's doing to the people that are dying. And anyways, I'm not going to get into that now either, but, all right, well, here's our bust. Let's say we bust this out. I'm not going to stop until DSC is evaluated effectively. I'm not going to stop until we do something innovative with these assets and we make sure that people are taken care of in a more appropriate way. So cheers today. Hobo Radio.